Hi guys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Kook Shed, my own little YouTube channel where I share ideas, tips and reviews related to surfing and bodyboarding in general. So today we're going to talk about the good old Gath Helmet. So these were pretty big back in the day, like a lot of people sort of wore them when they came out, and they sort of went away there for a while. I think people might have thought they were a bit daggy or a bit, overkill, that sort of thing. I'm not sure, but they've sort of came and went, and then I think they're having a bit of a resurgence now. But yeah, basically it's just a thin water sport helmet that aims to protect your head out in the water for things like surfing, bodyboarding, kayaking, anything that needs a helmet that can be worn in water and get wet, that sort of thing. So back in the day, I remember some people were teased for wearing these, like they were considered a bit of a pussy for needing to wear a Gath helmet. I think that sort of mellowed out a little bit, but yeah, I remember a local guy was wearing one to surf beaches, like little shore breaks and things, and splashing around, and yeah, I remember he copped a bit of flack for it, but you know, that was school days, so people cop flack for pretty much anything they did. I think they are a very handy bit of gear, okay? They not only can protect you from an injury, a head injury, they also do a few other things. They also serve a few other purposes. So yes, the main thing is, yes, protecting your head from the reef at heavier places, or sand even. And that was generally when I was younger, that's what I thought they were for, sort of just for, you wear them in serious situations out in the surf. But they can also be, good for other things. So one of those things would be for crowds. As surfing is becoming more popular, more and more people are surfing, and the crowds are increasing. So surf breaks might have a lot of different riders with a lot of different skill levels at that one place, all crammed into that one lineup trying to get a wave, and boards can go flying and hit you in the head. You might get a rogue stand-up paddleboarder coming through the lineup, and those things are lethal. You know, they're huge boards, and if they get away or they hit you in the head, you could be in a bit of trouble. So also in those sort of lineups, I've noticed this trend of people not wearing leg ropes. So I don't know why you would do that in a crowded lineup, but people are doing it, I've noticed. So you might get a crew of 5 people come out not wearing leg ropes because it's cool or something like that, and suddenly you've got 5 boards flying around if there's a cleanup set. So definitely good for those situations as well. Another one is ear problems, ear infections, that sort of thing. So surfers are at risk of getting ear problems because of the exposure to the air coming in, salt water and air and things like that, getting in and causing problems with your ears. So these will help protect or minimise the amount of wind and water that's coming into your ears. So they've got 2 little breather slots on where the ears are, so you can still hear. But they actually come with a little neoprene cutout, so you can actually put them in there, put that one on each ear. That little cutout will seal that up, and that works not only to keep water out and things like that, but it keeps you warm, and that's another use I wanted to mention too. I know a guy who always uses them in winter just to keep his head warm. So that's another thing worth thinking about too, especially if you live in a colder climate. They also protect against the sun on your head, with skin cancers and things like that. Once again, surfers are at risk of exposure to the elements, and one of those elements is the UV rays coming down always on the head and things like that. Now, you might put sunscreen on your head or whatnot, but over a few hours it might wear off, or you might rub your head or something, and it sort of just diminishes the sunscreen's ability to do its job. Whereas if you've got a Gath helmet on, it's going to protect your head from the UV rays a little more. Well, I'd say a lot more. And so, especially, you know, if you're balding or something like that, or you don't have much up on top, or you just might like to stay safe. So that's a good one to keep the UV. It keeps the UV off your ears too. No matter how much hair you've got, it keeps the UV off your ears, the sun off your ears, and that sort of thing. So that's a great one. That is a really good use for these as well. Another one, it's not as important, but they actually keep the hair out of your eyes. Like I've noticed with the longer hair, when I wear this, it sort of just keeps the hair back out of your eyes. So yeah, a lot of surfers with longer hair, or females with longer hair, so, that's a good one. It actually, if it's fitted right, it keeps the hair back out of your face. I've definitely noticed that one. So many good uses for these Gath helmets. There is a downside. There is a little downside, and that is the feeling of them when you wear them, and that's what puts off a lot of people. But I got this one and thought I would just persevere with it. The feeling is a bit strange when you first put one on. Your hearing's a little bit muffled. You sort of feel a little bit separated from the environment around you, a little bit. Like it's hard to explain. But one of the main ones that threw me when I first started was there's a little air pocket in there, a tiny little air pocket between your head and the helmet, and also there's padding in here which floats. So when you're duck diving or pushing through a wave, the wall of a wave, I noticed there was a bit more sort of resistance from the helmet to go through the water than as opposed to just wearing no helmet. So I did notice that felt a bit weird, and it takes a little while to get used to. Some people might never get used to it, I don't know. But yeah, keep that in mind. It can take a little while to get used to the feeling of it, but it does give you more confidence as well. You know, there might be some, you might be out in conditions that are a little bit more above your level, and it might just give you a little bit more confidence to go and give it a go. Look, it's not going to save you from everything. You know, you can still break your back with a helmet on, but it does protect, you know, your brain, your head. So definitely valuable in that way. So look, hopefully I've covered everything today about the Gath helmet. You can get a visor too, I'll throw that in too. You can get a visor that attaches to these, and it flips down. It's sort of a tinted perspex or some type of plastic that actually flips down, and you can flip it back up. So they're really good too, especially for places with a lot of glare, like as in there might be a spot that always seems to work in a late afternoon when the sun's setting and it's right in your eyes or something like that. It's really handy for that. But I've also found, oh yeah, in the tropics too, where the glare is just really strong, the sun is really strong. So that might come in handy for you. One thing I've found though is a lot of those visors get scratched really quickly and easily. So if you're going to go down the visor route, protect it, keep it, you know, put it in a soft bag or something when you come back from surfing. Try and stop it getting scratched, because over time you will be able to see those scratches on your visor, especially in those strong glary conditions, and it might sort of bother you, or just might stop the visor doing its intended job. Not as common as just a standard, but they are out there and might be worth getting if you need it for certain conditions. Okay, that's enough from me. I just wanted to touch on the Gath. I don't think they are just for pussies. I think they are a valuable tool to have in your surfing gear arsenal of equipment to use. I don't use it all the time. I'll just throw it in at a couple of local spots where I think the conditions are a little bit sketchier, the tide might be a bit low, that sort of thing. But yeah, you can use them for a whole bunch of things. You don't, yeah, like I said, you can use them for other water sports. I've even seen kids using them as a helmet for when they're riding down the beach with their boards. I know it's not a road safety approved helmet because it's so thin, but it's some protection. So, oh, another one, sorry. I knew I'd forget one. You can mount a camera on them, especially with GoPros and cameras getting smaller and smaller. They're a great platform to attach a camera to. So I've seen people do that and they've got some really good footage from it, that sort of point of view perspective. They'll mount it there with the glue provided, the gluing patch, and they've got a GoPro sitting right there, so it captures all their footage of their surfing and whatever they see. You could even maybe put it on the side for different angles. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things you could do there with camera mounting as well. So I'm glad I remembered that just before I finished. Okay, that's it. If you enjoyed this, if it was helpful to you, hit like. If you want to see more reviews, ideas, tips, that sort of thing related to surfing and bodyboarding, hit subscribe, and I'll see you here next time on Kook Shed. Thanks for dropping in. Catch ya.